Python, and
Okay.
it's saying
Okay.
Python.
Maybe if there are confusions, let me explain that once again. You go to this python.org first. After that, you click on this downloads button and download this. Download Python 3.10.4. So once you click that, it is going to download somewhere onto your PC. I will download that again, although I have downloaded it previously.
I
You can
downloaded
see
3.10.4.
Yeah, that's the latest version that you have. So it does not take more than 5 minutes to get downloaded if you have a decent internet speed. But if you have a slower internet, it's going to take a little longer than that. So once it has been downloaded,
The time
now,
keeps changing from 11 minutes to 1.
yeah, that happens. Some of the times when you start downloading, the internet speed is not that good. And initially, it takes a little longer. It shows you that it's going to take a little longer time, but it um, does not take that long. So once there you have downloaded it, what you need to do next is click on this downloaded file and it will start to install. I will show you how you are going to install it. What are the options that you are going to select? So just keep looking it very closely. If you have any questions, do ask me. Okay. Do not have any confusions with you. If there is any problem, you can ask me anytime that you want. Okay. So yes.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
Solved it already.
Yes, Dalal. You have already installed it. Okay, that's perfect. So you can just follow if you have done it correctly. So just click on this file that we have downloaded, that we have recently downloaded. And after that, just wait for the file to load completely. Once it has loaded, you will see two options here. First says install now. The other one says customize installation. So you do not have to customize the installation. You have to click on install now and make sure both of these are checked. Okay, so both of these are checked now. Do not keep them unchecked. Keep them checked. If you uncheck that, you see that there is a different appearance here. Once you click that,
What does 64-bit mean?
64-bit means that it can run on machines that have 64-bit installer in that. If this doesn't work for you, mostly the machines are 64-bit, so you do not have to worry about that. So it would work fine with you. 64-bit means that there are two different types of machines. One are 64-bit and there are other machines which are 32-bit, which affects their speed somehow. So somehow it shows their working capacity. So you do not have to worry about it. It would still work fine if you have a 32-bit machine. So you can easily download it. There is never a problem. So there is never a problem with them.
Can you tell how to install again?
Yes, I haven't started that yet. I will show you again. So once you have downloaded this file here, all you need to do is just click here. This file will be loaded first. Once it has been loaded, all you need to do is on this screen, before you press install now, you have to click here, add Python 3.102 path, and then you can click on this install now button. Once you have clicked that, if you do not have an administrator's account, it's going to ask you permission before installing it, and it will start its installation process. If you need any older versions, you can download these older versions here as well. These are also some of its older versions, older releases, but it's always better to have
older versions about the Python?
so they like work the same way, but there are time to time there are some.
What's the difference between older versions and younger versions?
It's not basically older versions and younger versions. It's basically previous versions and new versions, latest and a little old versions. So old versions, you can see their release dates also. So every time they release a new version, there are.
Downloaded now.
So we have downloaded.
Are the previous ones that are gone?
Okay, we have downloaded the latest version right now. Okay. So we are downloading the latest version. We have to download the latest version. That's it. We do not have to look for the previous or the old versions, and it can automatically update itself whenever there is a new version. So you do not have to worry about that at all. So the older versions are here. They always keep on get updating, as I have told you in the previous level one also. that once you have made a program, the next thing is that if there is something that you find can be fixed, there was a problem or there was something that you want to improve, you update your software. So these are basically the updates. Every new version has a few updates. All these few updates are mentioned in the release notes. I would not suggest you to start reading that because it's going to take a lot of time to
It's
understand.
downloaded, but now it's installing and initializing.
Yeah, it would install. Mine is already installed. Okay. So now what I can do is close it. And in order to check if I have completely or clearly installed Python, what I need to do is go to this start or this search here and write Python. If I see this Python 3.0, 3.10, 64-bit app, I can open that or I can open this IDLE. So our basic lesson for today is regarding IDLE, this word.
How do I drag it onto the main screen?
How do you drag it onto the main screen is like another important thing, but instead of dragging it onto the main screen, I will show you something else. You do not have to actually drag it to the main screen. What you can do is do this. First, I have opened Microsoft Word. So this has opened here right now, Python. Do not worry about the Word one. What you need to do is right click on this one and pin it to taskbar. Once you pin it to taskbar, even when you close it, it would always stay there. You just need to click this one icon and you would have your Python open. It's more convenient and more effortless when it comes to comparing it with putting it on the desktop. So do not put it on the desktop, put it on the taskbar instead. Fine? Fine. Perfectly fine.
Mine
So,
is saying that 32-bit.
what
Mine
is your?
saying idle Python 3.8 32-bit.
It doesn't matter. It would work the same way. If your machine is 32-bit, you will have a 32-bit. If you have a 64-bit machine, you're going to have a 64-bit Python. It's basically.
What about a 128-bit machine?
So how do you know that?
Who knows that?
My Python is open now.
Okay, so your Python is open, or you don't need to worry. If you have downloaded Python and it has opened, so everything has worked fine for you. You do not need to worry about anything. Fine. Okay. So the next thing that I was telling you about is if you see this word here, it says IDLE, shell. So what is the meaning of this word?
What is this item then of this? Yeah.
So what is the meaning of this word? That is basically what I want to express. I would want to ask you guys. Do you know what is the meaning of this? IDLE?
No.
Okay. This.
I have Python 3.1064-bit.
Perfectly fine. If it is opening in front of you, you have downloaded it, installed it, and it's opening on your screen, everything is perfectly fine. After this, they all are going to work the same way. So you do not have to worry a lot in that. Okay. If it has been installed and it has opened on your screen, it means everything is working fine for us. So now let's move towards the next thing. What is this IDLE means? What is the meaning of this word IDLE?
Maybe it means I don't need. Maybe means stand still and don't move.
Do I have to write this on Python or just look at it?
Sorry? What
Do
did
I
you
have
say?
to write this on Python or just look at it?
As I don't means stand straight and don't move.
Idle means, yes, idle basically means the same thing, that you stand straight and don't move, or you sit without doing anything, or when you are not doing anything, you are basically idle. But this is not that idle. It has all the letters capital. It means that it is an idle basically means useless, but this is not that idle. This is IDLE. Okay, so I has a different meaning, D has a different word, L has a different word, and E has a different word. So all these words, all these letters IDLE, they represent different words here. I'm going to write those words here. I means integrated.
What is
D.
integrated?
You need to learn to wait, bete. Next is development. L means learning. E means environment. So combined IDLE means integrated development learning environment. There is this also
That's a
between them.
short
What does
form.
integrated mean?
I will explain you what does
So,
everything means, but
idle is a short form.
yeah, IDLE is a short form or is an acronym for IDLE stands for integrated development and learning environment. Okay, so now all these words are like development, learning environment. You might have heard those words, but integrated is a new word. Integrated basically means
You have
combined.
to write this down.
No, I will share it, don't worry. So integrated basically means combined, or it also means having everything at one place, which also means combined. So integrated
Yeah,
means
I know that. Combined.
combined. You already know what's the meaning of combined. So integrated basically means combined. Integrated also means having everything at one place. So there are a lot of things that we have to do when we are working on a programming language, like we have to run previously saved programs, we have to create new programs, we have to save the program that we are working on. We also want them to be translated. So if all of these things can be done at one place, it means that it is integrated. Okay. So when we say this word now, instead of IDLE, if I will call it integrated development and learning environment. So what would I mean from this whole word? From this whole word. So the type of software where you can do everything related to
Also, there's an opposite of software, hardware.
yes, but that's not the opposite of software. Hard is the opposite of soft, but hardware is not the opposite of software. But they are obviously totally different things, but we do not consider them as opposites. But let's say the type of software where you can do everything related to programming. When I say the word everything related to programming, I would mean running a program,
You're going to use Python yet?
saving a program. Sorry.
Are you going to use Python yet?
Yes, we are going to use that. But before that, I need to explain this as well. This is also very important. Okay? So the type of software where you can do everything related to programming.
Program have the wrong spellings.
Program does not have the wrong spellings written. All you need to do is Ayat, just wait for some time.
When will we start using Python?
I guess I have told you that the first 2 days we are not going to program or code anything. We are going to start it in the next week. I told that to you yesterday as well. I'm sure I have told that. Okay. So when we say that we want to work in an IDLE, that is integrated development and learning environment, this is kind of a software where you can do everything that is related to programming. You can run a program, you can save a program, you can create a program, you can translate a code, you can execute a code. So you can do like everything that is related to programming here. IDLEs
What
has
does execute a code mean?
execute a code means basically run a code. So that just like when you press the run button on your games, you start playing the game. Similarly, when you execute a code, you start working on the code that has been written. Okay, so that is what executing a code means. That is a very good question I have. Okay, so let's go for the next thing. That is that why do we need to use idles? We need to use idles, or we need to use IDEs because we want to work on different. So there is a very good feature that is added in all of the idles, that is tips and lookups. So whenever you start typing something, there might be, you can say, a suggestion or an identifier to let you know that what you want to type about, and you can start typing on it. And you can start working on. So tips and lookups are all mostly available in all of the idles. What you can simply do is just look from them, look from the drop down menu, what do you want to type in, and you can easily do that. So that is the purpose of using idles instead of using
What's
programming
lookup?
without. Lookups is basically a type of hint. It's like this one. When I click this, there is a long drop down menu. So I can look up out of from it, what do I want to do. This thing is not available in this idle version of Python, but it is available in PyCharm. So when we will start working on PyCharm, I will explain that to you as well. What is the meaning of lookups? So there are tips also that you can get from it, and there is always a learning environment attached to it, so you can start learning from it as well. Currently,
look up, but it has an S.
that's lookups. Not it's lookup is basically singular and lookups is basically plural. So that's why I have put an S on that, and it's not wrong, as you know. Okay, so next thing is that we start working on. So we start exploring how the Python is going to work. Where are the important buttons? Where are the important tools that we have to work on? So the most important part is always this file part. It allows you to create a new file. When you click on it, you are going to remove everything and start a new file. So this is a new file that you can start working on right now. And after that, there is this open. So if you have opened a file, if you have created a file previously, you can open that now. That is another part of it. Next is open module. Modules are basically, I will explain you what the modules are in fifth or sixth lesson when we will start programming. So you do not need to know about modules as yet. And then there is this save command. You can save any code that you have created and save it here. Let's say that this is hello file. So now I have saved it. And similarly, I can open it here as well. So it has opened now. So I can create, save, open, or run any file that I want. There is this button also that says exit ideally. What would happen if I press
When I
this
try to
button?
do print hello, it
Hello?
doesn't work.
Maybe we have to do it. Maybe then we have to load it all again.
Yes, we would have to close it. If we exit idle, we are going to exit this Python interpreter, and then we will have to start it again if we want to work. Okay. So print window is basically allow you to print window is basically going to allow you to print your code onto a piece of paper, which is we are hardly going to do. We are not usually going to print our paper here, but print our code on a paper. So that is why we might not be using this print option here. Then is this edit option. It has a lot of tools that we can pick up and choose from. Like undo is there. If you have done something wrong and you want to remove that, you can undo. If you have mistakenly removed more than one steps and you want to do that back again, you can do redo. Redo would do something that you have. Yes.
Teacher, I know the buttons redo and undo. I also know them.
So who doesn't know what is the meaning of undo and redo? Is there anyone who doesn't know what is the meaning of undo and redo? So I hope that. Is there anyone who hasn't used this undo and redo before? Undo is that if I have.
I didn't use undo and
Okay.
undo.
Let me explain you what is undo
When I
and
try
redo.
to do print hello, it doesn't work.
So you have done that already with me. That's great. Okay. So undo. Okay, no problem. You can do it on your own. Undo would allow you to remove something that you have mistakenly added onto the group. like the last step that you made, and you never wanted to make it, but you somehow with a mistake made a mistake in a step. So if you want to go back to the previous state, you would have to undo. And if you have mistakenly done undo more than once, you can come back to a newer form by using redo. Let's say what happens when we undo. Nothing is happening. I wrote print here, and then I wrote and I didn't want to, let's say, write this last line, and I can remove this by undoing it. Undoing it would mean that I have to remove it. I have undone that. Now, if there was, I realized that I should not have removed this one. Rather, should have removed something else.
My
So I
brackets are
can
not the
bring.
same as everyone else's.
Sorry.
My brackets aren't the same as everyone else's. They're more of a square than a.
Square kind of brackets we're using. Are you using the brackets from the 9 and 0? So you can press shift 9 and shift 0. You can press shift 9 and shift 0 on your screen to put the brackets. So if you are not using that button, that those brackets would be different. So let's say that I removed that. I removed something that I was not supposed to remove, and I have used undo to do that. So any mistake that I have made using undo, I can change that back again by using redo. Redo would allow me to do something again. So for redo, you can use Control Shift Z. Control Z is undo. Control Shift Z is redo.
In my Python, I don't have this list on the top.
You do not have this list on the top because you have not opened idle. You have opened the Python. So you need to open idle Python. It's right there. You can see
But I just
ideally
wrote the
if you
print
will,
hello thing and it worked.
yeah, but that would work. But this interface, this list here, that would be available in this idle Python, not in the Python. If I will open Python here, let's say this one, you must have opened, I guess this one. Did you
I
open this
understand.
one? You do not need to open this one actually. You need to open this one, idle Python.
I found idle, but I accidentally clicked it on the web.
Yes,
Now
I got that. If you open idle one, you are going to get this list here. So after that, you have this shell button. Shell button this basically is called a shell in which we are working right now. So the shell, we can restart the shell. We can view the last thing that we started, and we can see the history of the work that we were doing. So this is all that we can do from the shell. And then there is debug. Debugging is like a step.
Debugging, we learned that in our last class.
Yes, I told you in the last lesson
correcting
also.
the mistakes.
Yes, so there is a very important word here, that is debugging. I will explain you what this is.
Debugging means we have to correct our mistakes. We learned it last
Yes,
course.
Ayad, you were in the last class, but there are new students also. Let me explain it to them as well. So debugging is basically came from bug. Bug means error.
That means an insect.
And debugging is the process of removing errors. Okay, so that is it from our today's class. In the next class, we will start working on Python and start making our programs. So this is it that you have learned how to download it, and you have learned a few things. I will share these notes with you, and I will share the